is, Harry. Like, I'm telling you, every time I feel some kind of way, I just get up with him and I just feel, you know, amazing.
He has
Amazing.
he has this sense of calm, right? So it's like you step into his calming energy. You know, it's definitely
Yes.
something.
Yes. Yes. And I enjoy him very much. So we're gonna have more. He's gonna come back more on a regular basis again. This COVID thing has made us all, shift and pivot and do the thing. So, no, no, what are you gonna do, Harry? We just all are, and people got their hats hung on this daggone um vaccine. This is gonna be interesting, Harry, because the anti-vaccine people are gonna be flipping out. Everybody's gonna try. I don't. This is just gonna be. It's gonna be like Walmart having a sale on 55, 65-inch screen TVs for like $25. Like everybody's
At
like
least
a mass.
at least you're gonna have your choice, right?
No. I was
You're
like,
gonna Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson and Johnson, and somebody else.
whoever else, somebody else. Momo and them in the backyard. I mean, everybody's gonna make their own, uh, uh, I don't know.
The key is is convincing people. Like Babz, I took a flu shot yesterday.
Oh, you did go and do it?
Yeah, I did it. Uh, I had my annual
You
physical
sound a
yesterday.
little congested. Okay.
What happened?
You sound a little congested.
You know, after that shot, I felt a little bit weird after the shot. Um, and then today, I did wake up with a little bit of congestion, and I'm like,
I
oh
hear
no, oh no, this flu shot. But that's probably the worst I'm gonna get of it.
you. Okay.
Um, I usually don't get the flu or nothing like that. So now with the flu shot, I'll probably get a little bit of the symptoms, but it'll be protecting me in the long run, I guess.
Well, against whatever that strain is, whatever, it'll protect you from some strains of the
Yeah.
flu. I mean, if you need to do it, you need to do it. I mean,
Well, I don't know if
you know,
I didn't feel like I needed to do it, but Dr. Karen Droz in my house, um,
like you ain't gonna put us all in danger.
she's like, well, we don't usually take the flu shot. She took it this year, and she felt that I should take it. So who am I?
Good.
Who am
God
I?
bless her.
Right? Who am I to argue?
That's right. Don't argue because it's a losing game.
Right. And then I went to the doctor, and the doctor's like, your wife is right. So
That's right. Happy life, happy wife. is
so
our is our next guest in the hostage room? No, not yet.
yeah.
I think she's in Texas, Harry, or somewhere where it's whatever time it is, it's early.
What's
10
Texas?
15.
Is it 2 hours or 3 hours?
3.
3?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Whatever it is, Harry, is early.
yeah, so 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, some ridiculous time.
So she needed probably an alarm to wake her up.
Well, no, I think they scheduled it, so I think she'll be fine. Like I think she's fine. I hope she's fine. Because I would love to have her on. I'm looking forward to it.
So what is she again? She's the director of what?
Harlem Shakespeare Company.
Harlem Shakespeare. Harlem
Yeah.
Shakespeare, she's in Texas. There's a Harlem in Texas.
No, she's in Harlem here in Harlem, but I think she's in Texas. Like, everybody just travels or do
Oh, okay.
whatever they got
I'm
to
like
do, or maybe she might be stuck. I don't know.
I'm like, there's a Harlem in
You know.
Texas. Didn't know that.
There's a Paris in
You know how
Texas.
many times you know how many times going to work when I lived in New York, I would fall asleep on the train and end up in Harlem. I'd wake up and it's like, oh my God, I missed my stop.
I don't know how you can fall asleep on a train, Harry. I would be too. It would be that the vulnerability alone in that would just not make me sleep. I couldn't do it. I'd be
Well,
so
when you're in
nervous that I would be asleep that I'd wake up and I'd be like some god awful place somewhere. I don't know.
no, well, when you're a New Yorker, when you're born and raised there, it's not as nerve wracking. I would fall asleep and I'm like an hour away from where I should have been on the train on the last stop. And I'm like, oh my God. So I would have to call into work and say, I'm gonna be late. And it's because you fall asleep. Yeah, you're a New Yorker, sometimes you're too comfortable.
Yeah, no, see, no. No, I'm not a New Yorker. So no, I would never be I would never be comfortable, Harry. The only way I could fall asleep on a train in New York unless it was going to California.
Well, that would be a really fast
But
train.
that's what I mean. That'd be the only way I could fall asleep. Like if I was going across country, because
No, well
no,
now I'm so far from being a New Yorker, right?
I
Because
know, right?
now when I go, I everything's dirty. Everybody's a suspect to me. It's just like, oh no, I can't be here too long.
That's so privileged. I know my ex-husband is the same way. I remember when we first married, he was like, "We should move to New York. We should move to New York. We should move to New York." Right? We started looking at brownstones in Harlem because he was like, "Oh, we should just live in New York." And then after a few years of living in Connecticut, Harry, we go back to New York, and he'd be like, "Oh no, I
Yeah.
can't possibly live in New York now. It's so bright. I just too many people. It's
Yeah, well,
dirty."
imagine me when I first moved to Connecticut. I used to visit. I used to go back and visit the projects where I came from every weekend,
Oh my
and
God.
it was like, and after like 2 or 3 years, I was like, "Oh my God, what is this? This is insane. What am I doing in this location? My life is in jeopardy every second in this area." I
Oh,
realized this is crazy. This is why you moved away.
yeah, no, I can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do it. So, and there was I think like everybody, Harry, I always wanted to live in New York too. And working in New York gave me that idea, like, oh, I could live in this city. It's got a pulse, it's got energy. And now I'm like, oh, thank God I didn't do it because I
Well, it's
would have
fun. New York
I
is
would
fun
have
to go
hated
see.
it.
It's fun to go see the Broadway shows, the off Broadway shows. All of that is fun. The feel of New York City on a Friday night is like insane. It's great, but you 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 learn to live without it.
No, I can't. I mean, I can't. I'm not going to. I mean, it's too late for me to live in New York now. Like, I do not have the wherewithal or the energy to do it.
Yeah,
But
and
I understand
for
people
me
who do.
the wall to wall people was what really got it out of my system. Going back, living in Connecticut, and then all of a sudden you get off the Metro North, and there's like a million more people than you've seen in Connecticut for 2 or 3 years. It's just like millions of people instantly right in your face. That wall to wall people got me over it real quick. And
Hmm.
also shopping in New York. We used to shop for everything in New York. We used to go to New York to shop.
Oh yeah, that
And it's
was
like
part of the fun when I was a kid, Harry.
too
Not
much.
anymore. Not now. I don't love it. The only way I could go to New York to shop now if I had a car and driver.
Too
That's
much.
called big. That's cool. Is my guest in the room in the hostage room?
Nope.
Oh Lord, I hope she didn't. I'm trying to catch up with with the woman who I'm just trying to see where Rebecca
So it's
is.
probably 10 o'clock Texas time.
Well, I hope it's not I did was very clear about the time. So we'll see. Let me see if I can get up with Rebecca Goodhart and see what's happening. I sent her another message. Check all our emails. We got all the places.
Well,
Let
I got
me.
the hostage room right in my face right here,
All
but
right. Well,
nobody's in there.
let me call Rebecca right now on my cell phone and see what's happening. You got to call your guest. You're like, hey, Rebecca, good morning on air.
Good morning. Is this Babz? Hello?
Yes, this is Babz. How are you? I'm on air, so you're on.
I'm trying to get Debra in as we speak.
Oh, I reset the login. Do you have it again? Is she having
Yeah,
it?
and I sent it to her again, and I'm calling her. So I am working hard to get her on. I am so sorry.
Oh, that's all right. As long as we know she's trying to get on.
I will come on.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. You heard that, Harry, right? So they're trying to get her on now. So they have all the information. So, you know, I'll send it to her one more time. Listen, I just sent her well, I'm looking forward to talking to her. So whatever time she could get on, that'll be great. Because I think it'll be well worth it. So just like look at our little hostage room and
The hostage room.
the hostage room. Our green what's our green room, Harry? Our green room. Our green room. We got snacks in there. We have champagne. We have champagne and vegan snacks.
Vegan.
Vegan. Oreos are vegan, Harry. Did you know that?
I know. That's the one thing that I thought Bella would like because it was, chocolate, but she really doesn't like Oreos. Oh, here she is.
And spicy, sweet, spicy Doritos without the cheese. Chili spicy are vegan. Okay. Oh, okay. Thank you, Harry. Hi, Deborah. You have to
Hello
unmute.
there.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning to you.
I know this is very early for you, my dear, so I
No,
appreciate your time.
I'm,
I
I'm
appreciate you getting up. Where are you, in Texas?
no, I'm in Arizona.
Okay, not too far. Have you been there since the whole COVID pandemic, or
I
that's just
have
where you are?
no. I was here when the pandemic struck and the lockdown started to happen, uh and I've been back to New York since. But yeah, I'm finding myself back here again because I just did my one woman show here in Scottsdale.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm so delighted to have Deborah family out there watching us. I'm so happy to have Deborah Ann Byrd here. She's the founder of the Harlem Shakespeare Festival and Take Wing and Soar Productions. She currently serves as the chief executive and producing artistic director. She has guided the company's growth from its birth in 1999 into a viable support organization serving women, youth, classical artists of color, and theater arts groups throughout New York. So I am a fan of
Mhm.
Elm City, Elm Shakespeare Festival. My daughter came up through high school, and she was a part of their troupe, the teen troupe. And so I
Yes.
have always had a fondness for Shakespeare. So to see a Black woman commanding Shakespeare in
Mhm.
the way that you do is amazing. And that you are stepping into the role of Othello is amazing. So when did you know that Shakespeare was something that you wanted to master?
Um, I knew when I saw a troupe of Black actors performing Shakespeare at Harlem's Victoria 5 Theater. And I saw this troupe of actors and I said, wow, I kind of like want to try that. I was at that time in my acting career looking for a different or newer challenge, something that was different from what I was doing at the time. I was doing gospel shows and other Black theater productions. And I just was, one of my mentors said, Deborah Ann, I need you to challenge yourself. And so when I saw this troupe of actors, I said, well, what is that? That's kind of interesting. I think I want to try that. And several years later, not even much longer, maybe not even years, just months, I said, well, let me go to school. Let me see if I can learn this thing. Let me see if I can master this thing. And so I did. I went to school and it was wonderful. And Shakespeare just jumped on me.
Wow. And so Shakespeare will jump on you, and there's amazing roles for women in Shakespeare.
Uh-huh.
But you take on Othello.
Yeah.
Or Othello takes on you, however way that shakes out. Now, Othello is not my favorite Shakespearean piece of work,
Right.
because I just find Othello to just be crazy, but I could see the attractiveness of it. But you tell me what attracted you to Othello. Of all the pieces the Bard has put out and created and crafted that has stood the test of time, why Othello?
Well, I was in my final year of college. I was downtown at a special workshop where John Barton had come from the UK. John Barton is a very famous acting coach, and a director in the UK. And he had come, he created a series called Playing Shakespeare. And in Playing Shakespeare, a group of celebrity actors normally come together, or just actors, because when they first started, they weren't celebrities, but a group of actors come together, people like Judi Dench and Patrick Stewart, like that. And so they did an American version of that kind of training. And onto the stage came Charles Dutton. So now Charles Dutton, we know him from Rock. We know him from Piano Lesson. We just know him because he's just a really fabulous actor. And so on that stage came Charles Dutton, and Charles Dutton began to work on this monologue in Othello, and his acting and his performance, his words, his speech, his emotional range was so compelling that I said to myself, as a young actor of Shakespeare, I said, I want to act like that. Not only do I want to act like that, I want to say those very words that he's saying like that, because if I can do that, I'm gonna be something else.
Wow.
So I was like raising my own bar and having a goal in my acting, with my acting chops. And then it took 13 years for me to realize that goal. Because in the interim, I was told when I was about to graduate college, that my career was going to be a challenge.
Now, where did you go to college?
I went to Marymount Manhattan College,
Okay,
a private
okay.
college in Manhattan.
I know it well. Mhm.
Yes, and it was wonderful. My Marymount career was just amazing. I can't even say enough about it. But that particular class and that particular year, I had two different professors who challenged me about being a classical actress and having a career in that genre. And so I said, something about this is not right. Let me fix it if I can. And so that's when I created Take Wing and Soar in the Harlem Shakespeare Festival, to give classically trained actors of color a center stage opportunities to help them to reach their highest potential. So if the world is going to tell me that after I spent all my money in college, that my career is not going to be so, because America is saying, Black actors are going to have a rough time, then I said, we got to fix this. Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
which is interesting, because I could go to Mr. Robeson. I could go. Some of the finest actors of our time has done Shakespeare.
Right.
All iterations of Shakespeare. So you're in Harlem and you look around and you say, what's needed? A Shakespearean theater company. So when you tell people that, what was the initial response? And people say, like, girl, you know what?
No, folks said, okay, all right, we know you're different, Debra. They said, all right, Byrd. So I went to 4 women in my community, and I said, ladies,
Always women, always.
well, I chose them on purpose because at school I also was learning that there was a disparity in business among women, and that women weren't really there weren't that many women board members in these companies, and just taking all kinds of women studies classes, and I said, then what I need to do is to help women, youth, and classically trained actors of color. And so I sought those 4 women out, and they were colleagues of mine, friends of mine from the theater. And I said, I want to start this thing. And they said, that sounds like a good idea. And so they joined me as board members, and together we launched Take Wing and Soar, and we did Richard III as our first performance. I went back to my
Wow.
college. I went back to my college and I hired 2 of my professors, one to be a dramaturg and the other to be a director. And we did an all Black production of Richard III, and it was amazing.
Wow.
And from that, I knew we could do it. And so now we're 18 years in. I think we're 18 years in now.
And
Yeah.
so how does Harlem receive it? I mean, Harlem is, I mean, if you're going to do it anywhere, I would imagine Harlem would be the best place to do it because there's
Yeah.
so much rich talent
Mhm.
and cultural competency in Harlem that how could you not do it there?
Yeah, that's so. Harlem has received it really well. There are a few people in Harlem that's saying, why that child doing that Shakespeare stuff? She should be doing, other stuff. And to them I say, God bless y'all. There's room for everything.
Hmm.
There's room for a little bit of everything. So there are companies who focus solely on doing works by and about people of color, and that's good. And so with my Shakespeare, I do that as well. Um, you know, but for me, language, voice, heightened, the way of heightened speaking, a certain kind of 4 or 5 syllable words, all of that kind of challenge is fun to me. Um,
Hmm.
I can speak in yo, what's up? You say what I'm saying though. I can do all that, but
Because
I think
Shakespeare can exist alongside August
yes,
Wilson just as
yes,
well as, you know what I mean? Like all
yes.
of that,
All of it
you
can.
can put
I
it,
think all of it can exist together. You're right, absolutely so.
yes, yes.
But I think that when you're told that you can only do one and not the other, then it's funny you say August Wilson, because August Wilson is what they told me that I should try my hand at, given that it has such a facility for language.
Hmm.
And I felt some kind of way, not because I don't like August. I love August. I love his works and the culture, and helping people understand who we are, as a race, as a people, and understand the 10 what is it, 10 decades of life
A century worth of work. Yeah.
yeah, that's a beautiful thing. At the time, though, when I was told that, I was also being told at the same time that I should not do Shakespeare. And so I had like a rebellion happening. I was like, excuse me, I just came to school the last 4 years and paid my money, and now you're telling me I can only do works by and about people of color. I don't think that's right. I don't think it's fair. And um, yes, we can do all of these things. If you have the talent to do it, you should be able to do it.
And
And
I bet you
you
there
know,
are young people that you have come through your doors who didn't know that they were capable of doing Shakespeare until you introduced it.
that's so. That's so. There are a lot of young people, and some even some older, and
Hmm.
so we just coach them up. If for the when we first started, it was BFA students and MFA students, because I was particularly trying to make sure that those people had opportunities, because I know they had just come through what I just came through, which is 4 years of rigorous training, and time and money. And so I wanted to make sure that those actors had the opportunities to be Richard, to be King Lear, to be, and so not only did we take the students, we took very seasoned veteran actors as well, which actually helped us, like Trezana Beverly from For Colored Girls. She came in and she played Medea with us. She came in and she played King Lear as a man. She, Earl Hyman was one of our mentors, and so it just was really, really wonderful to be able to create those opportunities. The hard part was that I was an actor, and I had to become an administrator, an arts administrator, and a fundraiser, and
Because it's still a business. At the end of the day,
yes,
it's a business, and you want to keep the doors open, because if you keep the
yes,
doors open, you can still manifest opportunities for people.
absolutely, absolutely. And so all of that went down, and then 8 years in, I said, Byrd. I didn't tell myself that. As my mentor, Dr. Barbara Ann Tier, she said to me, Debra Ann, you got to get on that stage, girl. If you're not a martyr, I need you to get on that stage. She had
Absolutely.
been 40 years in with the National Black Theater. And she said, Byrd, don't give up your craft to be an administrator or to run a building or to run a theater company. Any chance you get, I need you to get on the stage. And so when she passed on, I said, it's time. And I started with Cleopatra. and that was amazing. And then it on and on. 2 years later, I finally got a chance to become Othello, and becoming Othello changed my world, shifted my
So,
world,
so,
enhanced
so,
my world.
so your production of becoming Othello, a black girl's journey. This is like a memoir of sorts. This is a moving, living, breathing memoir of sorts about your journey to this point, or how you embraced this role, or tell me what this is about.
Okay, it's about what you just said for the most part. Um, when I was finally had the opportunity to, as I call it, become Othello, um, I did what I normally do when I'm as an actor. So if I'm playing a Caribbean role, I start to speak with the accent because, all day, every day, so that by the time I hit the stage, nobody will know the difference, right? And so for Othello, I did the same thing, but I did it changed more than just my voice. Of course, my voice began to drop very low, and I began to speak like this all the time. How you doing, Babz? It's nice to see you.
I
And so
love
the
it.
people in my world were already like, okay, all right, her voice is really low, and that maybe they could work with that. But I had no makeup, no jewelry, no fingernails, no lashes, no big long, because I used to wear my hair really long. I had a little short fro with no makeup, no jewelry, no and black. And I'd hold myself a certain way and walk a certain way and behave a certain way, and the world around me began to shift. And
Wow.
in that shifting, I learned a lot about the people around me, and I learned a lot about myself. And as these little things started to happen one by one, I kept saying to myself, I've got to write about this. I've got to write about this, particularly when I had gotten so deep in my magic if, you actors sit in a chair and we imagine our character over there, and then we begin to pull into ourselves all that we see, all that we imagine. And so all that I was seeing and all that I was imagining was this general, this soldier, because my director had told me that this was a man. I asked her, am I going to be a female Othello or a male Othello? She said, Debra Ann, this is a man's story. And so I said, oh, okay, I'm going to have to be a dude. So I began to pull to myself masculine and remove from myself feminine. And the people around me, some of them didn't understand. and they reacted certain ways. And when they reacted in ways that equated for me in my mind and my heart to rejection,
Really?
set in. Yeah.
So you mean reject, like they were questioning like what's going on with you, kind of rejection?
One, they was questioning what's going on, but they knew I was playing Othello. So they knew that was going on with me, you know. So it wasn't as much of that as the shock of, you hear my higher pitched voice now. So now you hear me talking like this. And he has a special rhythm and a cadence. And so what it does is it sends vibratory frequencies. And so people are like, what is this I'm feeling? You know, my young girlfriends would be like, get away from me. Girl, you know, oh no. And, you know, one, she literally ran and she would hide when I came into the room or into the bar or wherever I was coming. I'm laughing now, and it was funny sometimes. But after a while, I realized that she was really frightened. And I started to wonder, is she frightened because, what is she frightened about? You know, is she frightened because I am, I'm this man who gonna get her? I mean, she loves men. So, or is it that I'm a female that is presenting male, that has an attractive energy that's making her
Yeah.
think what's going on with me? And
Yes.
so that happened to a lot of people, I think, especially the men folk, because they're used to being like, hey, Debra, what's up, boo? You know, let's talk. You know, when can we get together, like that? So when they saw me like that, it was
They were
as if they
oddly
were,
attracted to you, but were they
yeah.
attracted to you or were they attracted to you as
And
a
I was a
fellow?
dude. Yeah. So it caused, and I wasn't trying to do any of that. It's just what was happening. And
Wow.
when they would, when you know, I'd go places like events, and maybe I had just come from rehearsal, which means that male energy was on me really strong. People who are normally all over me were like, hmm, you know, just really just walking away from me and dissing me. And and I was like, what's that? You know, and then mentally, as I was taking on this character, the more I took him on, the more him I became, the more I began to change my mind about who I was. Not Deborah Ann, I'm clear about who she is, but you know, who I was in that moment, in that time. And then you know, the moon struck, you know, every 28 days the moon struck women. And when that happened, boobs start to grow, arm hits breast as the sword goes by, and the pain from it shocked me. And I said, damn, I'm a girl. And it was like that. It was like really
Wow.
I was all the way in. Now, see, I like to go in as an actor on all of them. I just played a 100-year-old woman. I was all the way in there when I was doing that, you know. Um, and she had a stroke, so I had to really be all the way in there, and that was kind of painful because holding that position with the paralyzed was a challenge. So that's just how I work as an actor. But in this thing, it got deeply personal because as people began to question me about gender, I began to look back at my life to see what's up with this. Am I not still Deborah Ann? Am I not still the same woman who I've been? What's going on here? And I began to trace back as far as I can remember. And I realized that from the time I was a very little girl, I always did everything that girls did, and I always did everything that boys did around playing. Around playing in the schoolyard, around climbing fences, or playing double dutch, or playing scalies, or playing the hand nursery rhymes, or riding bikes, or fixing bicycle tires, or scraping the can on the floor so we can do the fire hydrant,
So
or playing.
Othello makes sense.
Yes,
How
for
long have you been
me.
playing this? Like, how long have you been doing this? Like,
Uh,
how old is this moving memoir, living memoir piece?
well, I set out to write it in 2017,
Mhm.
giving myself a 3-year long project. And because of it, I in 2017, I said, I prayed and tried to figure out who was going to help. and up to my mind came Reverend Paul Edmondson from Stratford upon Avon. And so I ran into him at a conference and I asked him, and he said, yeah, let me talk to my people. So he went back to Shakespeare Birthplace Trust in Stratford and he asked them about becoming Othello. And they said, yes, let's bring her out here for a month during Black History Month. And she can be writer in residence at the Birthplace Trust. And so that was the beginning.
Wow.
So I spent a month at the birthplace, literally living across the street from Shakespeare's house. And every morning I wake up, I see it. It just was very inspiring.
So you not only write this, then you go to his birthplace, you perform this. So here we are in 2020.
Yeah,
Um, Still feel like you have to explain your reasoning for wanting to do Othello? Do you feel like
yeah,
it's the same as if it was, you know,
yeah. Sometimes, yeah. I mean,
really?
um, well, I performed it in 2019 because that's when I told them I'd come back after all my research at the birthplace, at the Folger in the Folger Shakespeare Library in DC. And then I got another fellowship at Columbia University, an artist in residency at Southwest Shakespeare. So it was just going on and on and on. And what I'm finding, or what I have found, is so now I've played Othello 3 times plus 2 times on Zoom. And so now it's in my body 5 times, having performed it.
Hmm.
And excuse me, look like I need water. Um, yeah, see, that's water's telling me, wait, sorry. Your body is just, it's the first thing in the morning, your body's saying, what's up, boo? Give me something.
Early
Um,
for you.
at any rate, yeah, people still ask me about Othello and why would I want to play it and why did I play it and what was my reasoning, and yo, you want to be a man? I know you want to be a man. I had all kinds of pushback, all kinds of, and in my heart and mind, I began to wonder, especially around the time of the moon, I began to wonder, females, what happens to females' mind every month? Those females um, who transition, to be males, to be, use the pronouns he, him, or even the they, them. What was happening for me is I could not look at Desdemona's face that day, that particular day. I had to get myself together, but that day, when the pain hit me that way, and I said, damn, I'm really a woman. And I know I'm a woman, but in my mind, I began to wonder, what is it like every month for those females who present as males? What happens to them psychologically? Because I was an actor and the way it hit me was really rough. And so I was just
Hmm.
wondering, and so I began to ask people. And one woman said to me, I'm embarrassed every month. And so that
Wow.
kind of thing made me empathetic. It's even welling up now. Don't cry, Deborah Ann. I don't cry, baby,
As you move
sometimes.
through this, you learn more and more and more about being Othello, um, and particularly in this time when we are starting to understand gender, transgender, and binary, and all these kinds of things that has become part of our lexicon and our consciousness. Who knew that Shakespeare would be a way in which to show up
Yeah,
for that
yeah,
community? Interesting.
yeah,
So
yeah.
tell
I
me,
mean,
how
that,
did you get the call from Elm Shakespeare? Like, how did you, what's the connection? Like, I mean, other than Shakespeare, I'm a big
well,
fan of Elm Shakespeare. Rebecca Goodhart is amazing.
yes,
Um, and they've got this whole thing around Black folks in Shakespeare. They're
yeah,
doing this
Shakespeare and
whole,
race.
yeah,
Yes,
Shakespeare and race, and I'm fascinated by it. And so your piece is up on the 19th, which I'm excited about. It's about a 90-minute performance.
yes,
We're looking forward to it, and people should go to Elm Shakespeare's website for the details about
absolutely.
that. So, what was that call like? Like,
Well,
how did they find you?
Well, Elm Shakespeare and I, before it was Elm Shakespeare, it was Rebecca, right? So I met lovely Rebecca 10 years ago at the Shakespeare Theater Association conference. And we kind of hit it off immediately. She was like one of the first people that I had a sit down with at the conference. And I think we were just having tea or something like that on one of our breaks. And we really, really hit it off. We realized that we had a lot in common. That not only were we lovers of Shakespeare, but that we were women of the same spirit, the same tribe, if I can put it that way. And we just had a connection. And so all the years just kept going by, and we met again at Shakespeare and Company in Massachusetts with we have a mentor in common, Tina Packer, who is the director of Becoming Othello, by the way. And so we love our Tina Packer, we love our Shakespeare and Company. It is the place of our training ground. We see each other at conferences passing, and she didn't see my Othello when I did it at the conference, but one of her staff members did. And they went back and told her that Becoming Othello is something else. You should think about that. And so very shortly after the conference, she contacted me and said, Debra Ann, I'd like to bring Becoming Othello to New Haven and the Shakespeare Company that I'm working at now. And I said, sure. And she began to explain to me about New Haven and about the people in New Haven. And I said, absolutely, I want to come. Absolutely, I want to see all the people. I want to see the people on the left and the people on the right. I want to see all the people. And I love to perform this in front of an audience that are a
Somebody's
bunch of
left.
people who look like me.
Oh, you will. I'm sorry that
Yeah, yeah.
session is almost over because I could really talk to you for much, much, much more time.
Oh,
Um, but what do you want people to take away from this experience? Because I'm going to tune in because I know everything is on Zoom these days because we cannot gather. But what do you want? What do you hope that people take away from becoming Othello, a Black girl's journey?
um, well, if I can say it succinctly, I'm very interested in people understanding that there is, and not everyone has this situation, but a lot do. I'm very interested in people taking away the idea that there is victory over hopelessness and helplessness. Um, and what happens to a person when you focus and move towards excellence? What happens to you and the people around you? You'll see that, you'll see challenge, you'll see just inspired. I'm hoping people walk away inspired, of course, entertained, but inspired and challenged, and walking away with the feeling of, damn, what is my life? How can I make a difference in the world? Walking away with all of that. If people can just walk away understanding that there's victory over hopelessness and helplessness, I'm happy. But if you can walk away knowing that I'm a badass too. Let me look at my life. Let me see how I can make the world a better place, a different place. Then Deborah Ann will be happy.
All right. I so appreciate you getting up this morning to talk to me because I am so looking forward to this production and seeing it. I love Elm Shakespeare. They have brought such joy and value to the New Haven landscape. Rebecca Goodhart and the team over there are amazing. Those young
Yes.
that they do, they have a teen troupe, which I think is phenomenal. To have young people grow up um, learning about Shakespeare and reciting those beautiful words. So I
Right.
thank you so much. I wish you every success. And I hope to see you soon again, talk to you again. You're welcome here at any time. Thank you so much for your time this morning, Miss Byrd.
Thank you so much for having me, Babs. I really enjoyed my time with you, and I really hope to see you again for sure.
Thank you. Thank
All right.
you. All right.
Blessings to you.
Yes.
All right.
See you on the 19th.
Yes. Bye bye.
Thank you. All right, Harry. Thank you. So if you guys want information, go to the Elm Shakespeare and Company page and register so that you can check out this production. It's the 19th, this in the next few days, and catch it because I think you will be pleasantly surprised. So thank y'all. I'm on my way out. I will see y'all Thursday. Have a good day. Thank you, Harry.
Hi, this is Babz Rawls-Ivy from New Haven, Connecticut, and you're listening to WNHHLP 103.5 FM, streaming live at newhavenindependent.org.